Hi, welcome to this episode of Thai Food. On this episode, we're going to make some risotto. Now, traditionally for risotto, you use arborio rice, but I'm not going to go buy special rice just to make risotto. You can use any rice as long as it's somewhat starchy. So I just got some regular, like medium grain rice, which is alright to use for this. So that's what we're going to use. We're going to start by putting our skillet here on a medium-high heat. And just hit start. There you go. And I'm going to go ahead and get a tablespoon of butter into the skillet. And then I'm going to do a tablespoon of my homemade garlic olive oil. Now this is going to be a garlic parm risotto. So, it's going to be heavy on the garlic. There we go. Tablespoon of homemade olive oil in there. Well, I didn't make the olive oil, but I added the garlic flavor myself. It was leftover oil from when I made my roasted garlic. I just kind of been babying it so I don't use it all up. I've still got more in the fridge, another jar about this size, so we're doing pretty good. I'm going to set this off to the side. My sous chef here is Shiloh, my son. And actually, he's more of the chef today because he's doing the cooking. I'm going to be the sous chef. Let's bump that down to medium, kiddo. Yeah. We don't want it too awfully hot yet. There you go, melt the butter in. Now to that, we're going to add half of a medium onion that I diced up ahead of time. Going to go ahead and get that right in there. Start cooking it. And I'm going to give this just a little bit of salt to help pull some of that moisture out of that and help it kind of caramelize a little bit. I'm going to hold off on that a little bit. I'm going to start getting my rice ready here. The little cupper here that I've got that came with my rice cooker, it's about a 3/4 cup is what I was told. So I could actually test that theory real quick. I got a measuring cup here that I used for something earlier. And actually, when you fill it up, it's just under 1 full cup. So we kind of want 2 cups of rice here. So I'm going to go ahead and top this off. Anybody who cooks rice know that if you make a mess, it goes all over. Thought I had a big enough bowl here. We'll go ahead and... No, that's good, kiddo. I'll clean it up. It's on the counter. It's usable. So, we want 2 cups of rice, and what you're hearing coming out of the microwave is some homemade turkey stock. And we're having turkey, smoked turkey tonight with dinner that I made on my smoker. Go ahead and toss that in there. I'm going to toss in about 8 cloves of garlic, really thinly sliced. Minced is even better if you want to mince it. I'm going to start adding in the rice so that can get nice and toasty with the garlic and the onion there. We need 1 more cup of rice. Okay. There we go. We got 2 cups of rice. Can I see that real quick, kiddo? Just want to add a little bit of fat that seized up in the bottom and the rice stuck to it. So just want to get that out. Alrighty. Yeah, keep mixing. Mix it good. Don't let it pile up. It'll fall, kiddo. It happens. I'm going to start prepping my Parmesan cheese here while he's cooking that and toasting it. We got 8 ounces of a Bel Gioioso Parmesan. You don't want the full 8 ounces shredded for this recipe. Now, as I mentioned, I'm using homemade turkey stock. Usually, if I'm just making it for whatever, I'll use vegetable broth, a whole quart of that. But since we're having turkey, I'm going to accent it with the turkey flavor. And what I'm doing is I'm kind of making notches for the rind, because I'm going to cut the rind off this cheese, because it's hard to grate that and use it. It's really inedible for the most part, but there's still a lot of flavor there. So we're going to put that flavor in the risotto while it cooks and then pick it out at the end. It's a good way to use this rind up. You can also do that, throw it in a soup, and use it for flavor that way. How's that going, kiddo? Don't let it sit too long because it can burn. That's why I turn the temp down. And try not to let it sit on the edge of the pan.
A little hard when it sticks on it.
Well, it's going to stick a little bit. You got to keep it moving so it doesn't stick, buddy. Here, let me see.
Trying.
Watch. You're worrying too much about the sides. If you keep it moving like that, you're going to get a little bit sticking on the side. You just can't be too particular. You know what I mean? Kind of like so. Just keep it moving, buddy. That's how you learn. And your pan slid off a little bit here. You want me to pull that closer to you? Does that help you?
Yeah.
There we go.
Be careful when you have these. They slide a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, it does slide on that a little bit. That's why you got to hold it while you're cooking it. That's why that handle there comes in handy. So it must be the pan got up to temperature here, because I don't hear it kicking on. So once the pan's up to temperature, the machine kicks off. So I'm going to bump it back up to the medium-high. Just keep an eye on it. We don't want to toast it too much, I'm going to continue prepping my Parm cheese here. Now you're going to get a lot of salt out of this stock, because what you're going to do is you're going to pour it in there, and it's going to, braise the rice, so to speak. And you basically want to just give the rice a head start in cooking here. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to pour in, I've got a little over a cup of homemade turkey stock here. And I reheated it in the microwave. I'm going to go ahead and get that in there. And you see I strained it because I had some peppercorns in there, and they kind of got in the measuring cup, so I didn't want the whole peppercorns to make it into this. This one I'd already screened. And if you can, you want to keep your stock hot when you do this, so the temperature doesn't drop on your rice. And at this point I'm going to go ahead and throw in my Parm rinds so that they start flavoring this risotto here. And I got my little grater here I'm going to grate the cheese with. Without knocking that off the counter, that wouldn't have been good.
Trying.
No, not you, me.
Oh,
I bumped the
this is
turkey
also
stuff.
falling off,
You're doing all right. Yeah, just keep moving it every now and then. You don't have to worry as much now with the liquid in there, kiddo. But you're doing good. Let it bubble and move it around a little bit. Let it bubble. You can probably stir it again now. I'm just trying to prove here that risotto is really so easy, even my 10-year-old son can make it, And he really enjoyed it when I made it. Made this right around Christmas, I do believe. Or was it Thanksgiving?
Well, you'll enjoy it more when you know the rules of it.
Doing good. And you can see it's not going to come together quickly. So at this point we could probably pause the video, and all you're going to do is you're just going to let it continue to cook like this, and as it gets lower you'll add another cup of stock in there. I'm going to go ahead and get that measuring glass again. Kind of add it in a cup at a time when it starts getting real low. The hotter you keep your stock, the better off you are. And I got a little kettle here. I'm going to put some water in and bring that to a boil when we get done with the stock. As long as we continue to cook this rice, we don't want it to dry out. So we'll take a pause here and we'll come back to you in a little bit. Alright, welcome back. We're just putting in the last of our turkey stock here that we had boiling. I just kept heating it up in the microwave as he kept stirring. He's been doing good. Where am I going with that? I don't want to go with anywhere with that yet. What I'm going to do is I'm going to measure out 1 cup of half and half. And this is going to finish when we add the cheese. So we're going to finish with a cup of half and half to help add to the creaminess of this. It's kind of like a rice and cheese dish for the most part. It's going to be nice and creamy. Put that back in the fridge. So we got a cup of half and half here, and I've got a couple tablespoons of butter, cold, that I cubed up, and we're going to toss that in at the end to finish as well, along with the Parmesan cheese here. So I've got that all grated up, waiting here. I'm going to getting low on liquid, so we're going to heat up some water here. And basically you just want to, after you've used all the stock or broth or whatever you're using, you want to just keep going with the water to keep it moist, because you don't really want this to dry out and get crusty. We're not making paella. That's a totally different dish. Risotto's finish is nice and creamy and rich. That's another thing the half and half brings with it, is a bit of richness. I'll go ahead and give it a touch of water here. I tried to get that going sooner, but I popped a breaker because I was using the microwave that at the same time, and we had something out there that was on it, and the ice maker, and apparently that breaker didn't like it. It happens. Not the way I would have wired up this kitchen, believe me. But it's the way I got to deal with it for now until I can rewire it. Which, that'll happen soon enough. So I'm going to have you put a little bit of rice on this spoon, kiddo. Okay. Just going to sample this and see how the doneness is. It's getting there. It's still a little crunchy. We're going to bump that down to medium so it's not cooking as quick on you now. Can I get in there real quick? It's sticking right here, kiddo. I know you. You can't just keep moving it in one little spot. You know, you got to get under the rice like that and stir it around. This is how you learn. You know, I'm trying to show you, so. Okay, go ahead. Alright, that's coming to a boil now, so that's going to be helpful. Need it to cook a little bit more yet. So at this point we're probably about, I'd say a little more than 3/4 of the way cooked on the rice. And we're just going to keep stirring it here and topping it off with the water. We'll come back at the end of a few. Okay, so now we're going to start the finish up procedure here. Just got some Parm cheese we're going to add in and melt in, but first I want to add the half and half here. And before I do that, I'm going to bump that down to medium-low, because we don't want to scald our cream. Go ahead and mix that in, kiddo. Now once this is all thoroughly absorbed, it'll be nice creamy consistency, and we'll finish with our butter. We'll go ahead and put this in the sink. I'm going to start sprinkling in the cheese here. Go ahead and mix that in. It's not going to overflow if you stir it right, buddy. You want me to get it? Yeah. Just got to get under it. If you try to push it, that's when it tries to clump up and come over like a wave. If you get under it, and then backpedal it. Get under it, and backpedal it. Okay? Go ahead. Just dump the rest in. There we go. So that's all the cheese that we're putting in there. And I didn't need a whole lot of extra water, but I needed a little bit there. And that was basically just to keep the rice cooking. Is it clumping up on you? Here, let me see. It's going to get thick and creamy, so that's what we want it to do.
Well, I get the cleaning part, but not necessarily the thickness.
Well, the thickness is the liquid in it is getting absorbed by the rice. And as the rice absorbs the liquid, it gets thicker. Remember how thick it was last time I made it? And I think our rinds that we had in here kind of melted into the dish. So that's not a bad thing, because I'm not seeing any chunks of rind in here anymore. So looks like we pretty much got this just about incorporated. At this point, I'm going to add in my butter for the finish. Did I drop some back there? Good catch. Good catch, kiddo. And we're just going to let this continue to thicken and get rich on us. Can I get a little bit on the spoon, please? Don't touch the spoon. There you go. That's coming along nicely. Alright, let me kick you out one more time here. Just kicking up the temperature a little bit. You can see this makes quite a lot. For every 1 cup of rice, you got to figure that's going to double and make 2 cups when it's cooked. So essentially, we got 4 cups of rice in this risotto now that it's doubled up on us. It's getting nice and thick and creamy. Almost rice pudding consistency. Just got to finish cooking out this liquid. We're gonna take another pause here and get this to finish up real quick. Alright, so at this point we pretty much got this right where we want it. We're gonna go ahead and turn this off and keep stirring it. And now we're reaching the rest stage of the risotto. You want to let it rest and continue to thicken and finish cooking the rice in there. It's just slightly undercooked, but it's palatable, you know. So we'll go ahead and we're going to let this rest a few minutes. We'll take it off the burner and set it on a hot plate, and we'll come back to you. Alright, so we've let this set probably a good 8 minutes or so, and you can see it's nice, thick, rich. We're going to go ahead and dish some up and try it here. Where's your spoon, kiddo?
Oh, I put it on the table.
Uh-huh. Don't forget it's hot. Look out, Sesame. Shiloh's coming through. Go ahead. Careful it's hot. That's all I'm telling you.
There you go.
Well, that's good. I really encourage you to try this dish. It's good. Well worth the effort put forth. But thanks for tuning in. Check out my Facebook group, Thai Food. I'm on Twitter, Instagram. Don't forget the little bell icon. And please subscribe to my channel and let me know if you try it and if you like it. Have a good one.